Welcome back to A Veil of Crime. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. When I saw this case, I immediately thought of my mother. My mother loves cats, and she would much rather watch a cat video than true crime, but she watches my channel every day because she's so supportive. So, this one is for my mother, whose love guards like a steady lantern in a long hallway. When fear darkens the door, she does not shout, she simply stays. And when staying isn't enough, her love finds a voice where I have none. This story is for her, and for a cat named Snowball, because sometimes protection speaks in the quietest ways and is still heard all around the world. Prince Edward Island is a place of clean air and long sky, a small, salt-rimmed world where people know more about the weather than about malice. In the autumn of 1994, a car stood abandoned off a rural road. The plates were missing. Inside, blood had misted the glass and soaked into the fabric. The name tied to the car carried 5 children with it. Shirley Duguay. For days there is searching, then the slower ritual of dreading. Families on small islands have a way of hearing things before they are said. In May of next year, in a wooded strip beyond the quiet fields, the ground gave what it was hiding. Shirley, bound and buried in a shallow grave. Near her, a plastic bag, a man's leather jacket. On it, her blood, and several white cat hairs threaded into the lining like a sentence waiting for its verb. Investigators already knew a name that troubled the edges of every conversation. Douglas Leo Beamish, Shirley's estranged partner and the father of 3 of her children. They also knew something smaller, almost ridiculous in its innocence. There was a white cat in his life, a cat with a plain name that would soon become famous. Snowball. Here is the problem with the truth. Sometimes it arrives wearing a form we don't know yet how to wear. In 1994, no one had ever brought a cat's DNA into a courtroom to speak on behalf of the dead. Crime labs knew hair, fiber, blood, human fingerprints of a violent night, but not non-human DNA. That was not a language that the law understood. The leather jacket waited in custody. The white hairs waited too, each a whisper from a throat that couldn't meow in court. And then, in the stubborn way that real protection behaves, love found its voice in a new tongue. RCMP reached out to a research team, not a forensic showpiece, but a lab known for more disease genetics than criminal trials. Together, detectives and scientists began to build a method from scratch. Feline DNA profiles, markers that would stand up to questions, and a control set of cats pulled from the island to ensure the match was not a trick of geography or a quirk of the family. It was painstaking, it was skeptical, and it was new. While the islands blew its usual wind, the lab coaxed a grammar out of a cat hair. A structure appeared. The white hairs from the jacket were red against Snowball's blood. The pattern was not merely similar, it was Snowball's. That is the moment this story tips, not with a chase, but with a voice. Not a cry under a porch or a paw at a door, but a pattern so specific it could name where those hairs had lived. The jacket came from a life that included Snowball, and the jacket carried Shirley's blood. In court, the science stood. The island watched the first non-human DNA evidence in a murder trial carry a truth past the threshold. In 1996, Douglas Beamish was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with no parole eligibility for 18 years. Appeals were tried and denied. The jacket had said enough. The cat had said the rest. The case traveled farther than the wind, and it stepped into the literature of forensic science. It taught other countries to listen for the DNA that falls from a sleeve, or from a couch, or from the borderlands where humans and their animals share a life. It taught us that protection isn't always a lookout posted at a door. Sometimes it is a presence so constant that even a single hair can carry its testimony. People called him Snowball, as if the name were too light for something that changed the law. But I am telling you this as a story about protection, about a mother whose love never leaves the threshold of her child's life, and about a cat whose silent companionship found a way to be loud at the moment that it mattered the most. For my mother, you taught me that love does not need volume to be heard, and for Snowball, who proved that devotion leaves traces even darkness cannot erase. Thank you for watching A Veil of Crime. Please like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you never miss an upload.